She begged me not to ruin her wedding day. She cried. She pleaded. But I couldn't give her what she asked for. Because what she was really asking was for me to teach my son that his love and labor meant nothing. My sister is getting married in 1 week. It's a celebration that's been a year in the making. And in a moment of joy and trust, during a family dinner, when her fiancé proposed, she turned to my son and said the words that started it all. "Will you make my wedding dress?" My son is 17, and while he's still a teenager in the eyes of the law, he's been chasing dreams that most adults don't even dare whisper aloud. Fashion isn't just a hobby for him. It's a language, a passion, a calling. From sketchbooks full of flowing lines, to technical sewing courses, to friends who beg to wear his creations. It's all he talks about, all he dreams about. And that night, when my sister asked him to design her wedding dress, his eyes lit up like the stars had finally noticed him. He said yes, but he said it the way artists do, with caution and care. He asked for time, for feedback, for her involvement every step of the way. She agreed, and so began 5 months of relentless work. My son drew 50 designs in that first month alone. 50. My sister didn't like most of them. In fact, she only liked one. The rest she called too plain, or too much, or not her. And so he began, stitch by stitch, thread by thread, adjusting, reworking, accommodating every complaint, every demand, every fleeting inspiration she threw his way. The fabric? Expensive. I paid for it, not because I owed her anything, but because I wanted to be a part of it too. I saw what it meant to my son, and I believed this was going to be a moment he would never forget. And I was right. Just not in the way I hoped. The final dress, it was breathtaking. Even my mother cried when she saw it. And I, a grown man who doesn't cry easily, I felt the lump in my throat as my sister stood in front of the mirror, turning slowly, glowing. But here's the thing. 1 week before the wedding, my son came to me. Quiet, hesitant, hurt. "Dad," he said, "I didn't get an invitation." I told him not to worry. Maybe it was an oversight. Maybe she thought he didn't need one because he was family, but something didn't sit right. So I asked her. Her reply, "I'm not inviting any minors. There's going to be alcohol." That was it. No apology, no explanation, just a flat refusal. My son is the only minor in our family. There are no young cousins, no toddlers, no babies, just him. And suddenly, he's too young to attend, but not too young to create the most important dress of her life. I asked her, begged her, if I'm being honest, to make an exception. Just this one. She cut me off, said no, said she wouldn't bend her rule. I looked at my son, his eyes glassy, his hands still carrying the calluses from hours bent over fabric, and I realized she hadn't forgotten to invite him. She'd planned this all along. She used him, and now she was discarding him like a vendor whose job was done. So I told her, "Find another dress." She screamed. She said I was heartless, that I was sabotaging her wedding, that I had no right. But I had every right, because that dress was never paid for. It wasn't a business transaction. It was a gift, a labor of love. And love demands respect. You don't get to use a child's talent and shut him out like he's unworthy of being seen. My mother called, told me to follow the rules, to be the bigger person, told me I was destroying my sister's happiness. But who stood up for my son's happiness? Who wiped his tears when he realized he wasn't family enough to be there? Who reminded him that his work was beautiful, even if the bride didn't think he was worth a seat at her table. So no, I didn't deliver the dress. Instead, I talked to my son. I showed him your comments, the hundreds of voices telling him his work had value, that his pain was real, that he mattered. And for the first time since this started, I saw his shoulders straighten. I saw that spark again. He decided to sell the dress. We calculated the price, the cost of materials, yes, but also the hours of work, the design process, the fittings, the emotional labor. It added up, and it was high. We sent her the invoice. She was furious, said it was too much, said she couldn't afford it, said it should be a gift. I'm family, she said. But that's the thing. You can't call on family when it's convenient and erase them when they become inconvenient. You don't get to benefit from someone's love and then deny them the dignity of presence. She cried. Again, said I was ruining her big day. But she never, not once, offered to apologize to my son. Never offered to make amends. Never offered to include him. She just wanted the dress, and I wouldn't let her have it. Some say I'm being vindictive, that I'm holding a wedding hostage over an invite. But it's not about the wedding. It's about worth. It's about a young artist who gave everything to someone he trusted, only to learn that trust doesn't always go both ways. And maybe that's the hardest lesson of all. So, am I the asshole? What would you do if someone treated your child like that? Here's a 17-year-old boy, a kid on paper, but in reality, he's already creating art that makes grown women cry. He's putting in work that rivals professionals. He gave months of his life to help someone he loved feel beautiful. And she turned around and told him he wasn't even invited. This story isn't just about a wedding dress. It's about boundaries. It's about teaching our kids their time has value. Their hearts matter. That love doesn't mean servitude. And it's about holding people accountable, even when it's family, especially when it's family. So here's what I want to ask you. What does real family mean to you? Is it blood? Or is it how we treat the people who show up for us? Let us know in the comments. And to the kid who made that dress, if you're listening, your story is just beginning. May this be the first of many gowns, but let this be the last time someone wears your work without also carrying your worth. This is AITA Story Vault, and sometimes saying no is the greatest act of love.